We try to get you the best subject matter experts inside and outside of VMware to deliver you our messagings to help you, our partners, because this is for partners only, to get direction on how to learn, market, and sell our products, solutions, and tools. So being here live gives you the opportunity to ask live questions and get real answers to those. We're asking you to please use the Q&A for those questions. And partners, you don't have to stick to questions. Put your comments, put your thoughts in there. You know, like I said, VM Lives are solely about the partners. So because you're here to hear more about VMware Cloud Director 4.2, Nikki, why don't you go ahead and get us started? Welcome to your VM Live.
Thank you, Teresa. So hello, everyone. My name is Nikolai Patrikov, and I'm a Senior Technical Product Manager at VMware. And today I'm going to talk about the new features in VMware Cloud Director available. So the agenda is we'll start with the new features, then what new resources are available for the partners to utilize, and we have a demo prepared for the end of the new features. So the new release of Cloud Director Availability 4.2 is purely focused on migrations, and there are two new key features. The first one is self-service migration to Cloud Director Service, which means we now add support for migrating any workload to Cloud Director Service, which was not possible with previous versions of Cloud Director Availability. And on-premises to cloud provider layer 2 extension, which is embedded in the product. It is not something that was not possible in the past, but it was quite a complicated process, especially for the tenant. So now we try to simplify it with this new feature. This is a big picture of how these two new features can impact you and your tenants. So starting with extending the on-premises network from on-premises data center to Cloud Director based cloud would help facilitate the migration process and plan better the whole thing. And with options to migrate directly from vSphere to Cloud Director Service and from Cloud Director to Cloud Director Service and in the opposite direction is supported as well. You have even more options for your tenants to utilize your clouds and have more things available to them. Let's start with the migration capabilities. So it's a totally new thing as it was not supported before, and it can be offered as a self-service or main service. The simplicity of the whole process allows it to be offered as a self-service. But of course, if your offerings include managed, you can do that as well. It supports warm migrations only, and it can be done directly from the vSphere plugin. So for the tenant experience is similar to what they might have used so far with previous versions of Cloud Director Availability. And the new thing is the new data mover or data engine that was specially developed to support Cloud Director Service. And I'll talk a little more about it. What about the layer 2 network extension? It gives the opportunity to tenants to migrate their VMs within mean time, and it reduces the downtime of VMs. Also, when you extend the network, you don't need to change the network settings, which gives them more confidence that the migration will be successful, and there will be no additional problems afterwards, and no post-work on application level if something changes. Currently, it supports NSX-T based Cloud Director clouds, and support for NSX-V is coming on the roadmap pretty shortly. Everything is managed through the VMware Cloud Director Availability UI, so you don't need to jump between different UIs, and you can easily provide this as a service to your tenants. Now let's talk about the new data engine and what's the difference. So with older versions of Cloud Director availability, there was support for Cloud Director, and it was based on HBR data engine. But due to some specifics of VMware Cloud on AWS, this data engine cannot be used. And because of that, we developed a completely new a data mover, especially used for Cloud Director service. In terms of architecture and components, there is no difference. All the appliances are the same. We have the manager, replicator, and tunnel. And for the tenants, again, there is no difference, and they don't even notice anything because Cloud Director availability appliance automatically determines based on the target what data engine to use. So there is no overcomplicating of the process. The requirements are pretty simple. There should be a standard SDDC and linked Cloud Director service to it, where all the appliances are deployed. It's recommended to have a separate routed network for the Cloud Director availability appliances, but of course, it's just a recommendation. You can use any routed network that is present. There should be a public IP address for the tunnel endpoint, and some firewall rules and NAT rules that are configured. And I'm going to show that during the demo, the whole configuration. And of course, we have all these well documented in the official documentation. We have also released a public white paper on it, and we have a video on YouTube on the Cloud Director availability channel that you can see all the technical details about the process. The supported use cases, as mentioned earlier, we support vSphere to Cloud Director service and Cloud Director to Cloud Director service with bidirectional migration capabilities. As limitations, we consider that currently there is no service to be requested for Cloud Director availability, but the provider needs to deploy it manually in the compute resource pool. And it supports war migration, which means there would be some downtime during the migration process. This is a look at the new data engine selection, which is part of the initial configuration wizard. It's the only difference in the setup. And if you somehow miss it on the initial setup, then it can always be changed, and always you can enable the right data engine through the VMware Cloud Director Availability Management Portal. And about layer 2 VPN and why it would make some impact. First, you know that there are many complex applications that consist of multiple virtual machines and multiple components, and this can be tricky when we talk about migrations, as it might take quite a while to synchronize these VMs to the cloud and to actually migrate them. So this adds the need of having something that would enable partial migration and doing it in chunks or something like that. And with the layer 2 VPN, we have this as the VMs continue to operate using their original network settings. And the application continues to function even if part of it is already in the cloud and the other part is still on premises. Since there is no limit on the time of a VPN session to be active, you can perform the migration process in the desired time frame and maintenance windows. And of course, this reduces significantly the downtime, as it is only the warm migration that causes some downtime, and in most of the cases it equals just a reboot of the VM, so it is not a significant downtime at all. The requirements for the on-premises, the tenant should be running the latest version of the on-premises appliance for .2. The site shouldn't be managed by NSX data center. If it is, there is a slightly different procedure. So this is for sites that are not managed, and there should be an NSX autonomous edge appliance deployed there. With simplified setup, as most of the configuration is automated through the Cloud Director Availability UI. And one important note here is that the NSX Autonomous Edge doesn't require NSX license, so it won't add any additional cost to the tenant data center, which might be some of the tenants' concerns. So it doesn't cost anything additionally. For the cloud, the Cloud Director Availability appliances should be updated to the latest version for .2. VMware Cloud Director 10.2 and later are supported, and they should be backed by NSX data center. As mentioned earlier, support for Cloud Director with NSXV is coming on the roadmap, and it's going to be supported pretty shortly. The org admin user needs to have rights to view and configure L2 VPN, and there should be an external network and edge gateway in Cloud Director that would be used for stretching the on-prem network. How it looks and the components. So on the cloud side, there is no additional component that needs to be deployed. And on the tenant side, it's only the NSX autonomous edge. And with that, it is capable after following a few simple steps. It's capable of establishing the IPsec tunnel and extending the network. So the autonomous edge has quite a minimal footprint on the on-premises center, and everything, even its network configuration, happens through the provider setup. Creating the server session is happening through the Cloud Director Availability provider portal. So I'm going to show that. Here is just to illustrate how simple it is to actually perform it. On the first screenshot, you can see how you can create an L2 VPN server session from the NSXT UI, and then the simplified setup within Cloud Director Availability. Here we even have some additional hints. For example, this for local address that shows the available ranges for the edge gateway to minimize the mistakes and make sure that you as a provider put the correct information here that would save potential problems. And this hint is, by the way, dynamic. So the addresses are taken directly from NSX. And in terms of tenant, there are 4 simple steps to be performed. First, they deploy the autonomous edge from the OVA in the on-premises data center. Then they register it in VMware Cloud Director Availability through the new menu that we have for that. After the successful registration, the networks of the autonomous edge are being configured again in the same UI. And we create, the tenants have to create a client L2 VPN session to connect to the already present server session on the cloud side. And with that, the whole configuration is done. Okay. Next, what resources are available now with this new release? So on the Partner Demand Center, we have published 2 go-to-market kits with several resources in it that can be branded. The first one is disaster recovery as a service, and the second one is for the target audience. You can use whatever works better. And there are some training materials and also one-pagers, slide decks, ebooks, videos, and others that can be branded and customized and can be used directly for your tenants. So it can have a unified messaging, and you can use everything that we already created as collateral. Okay, and now let's try to go to menti.com and use this code as I have prepared a small poll, and I want to check what do you think about the features, and one additional question on what do you find missing. So I'll stop sharing and we'll start the presentation, and I'll put also on the chat a direct link to the Menti